I'm continuing our month-long series on the nervous system, and this is not a podcast episode today that I planned on doing, but I am seeing something very disturbing in forums, in emails. It's when men become so hopeless and despair has taken over their nervous system so badly that they just completely give up. Bruce Abbott, certified professional coach, founder of SecureHusband.com. I just keep seeing this in especially online forums. Guys who are hurting so much and they've decided to LL for you, low libido for you. They are deciding that even though this is a need, they are saying, I am going to surrender in order to stay in this relationship. It is the ultimate form of self-abandonment. I have seen it so much over the last couple of days. I've just accepted the fact that I'm never going to have sex again. This is just my life now. I love this woman, and this is what I have to do to keep this relationship intact. I give up. What's the point? I don't even care anymore. And I think what gets me so much when I see this is the sadness, the resignation. There's no more fight. He just shuts down. I want to talk about that moment right there and what's happening underneath there, because this idea of giving up, it's a nervous system state. It is hopelessness and despair that has taken over your nervous system. And because the nervous system, we've talked about this, has one job, keep you safe, it has decided that you are safe in despair as opposed to truth. Despair is a nervous system state. When a man says, I'll never have sex again, and that truly is not what he wants, that's not acceptance, that's not clarity. That's your nervous system collapsing. We understand fight or flight. There's also freeze and fawn. This is the freeze, but this is freeze taken to a whole new level. And I say this, I know I sound like I'm getting a little tough love on these guys. I say this out of love. I say this never to shame, blame, or guilt. If you've listened to this podcast, self-compassion is what we need. We're already too hard on ourselves. But the nervous system is powerful, and shutdown is powerful. And I get it, because if your system has tried everything, pursuing connection, talking and fixing and negotiating and appeasing and self-improvement, and nothing changes, your nervous system shuts down, goes into conservation mode because it is too afraid to make the tough decisions to get your needs met. Remember, you are 100% responsible for getting your needs met. And that's when you go into shutdown, hopeless, resigned. And I'm adding this to the series of the nervous system because it's your body saying we're overwhelmed. We don't know what else to do. Nothing has worked that we're comfortable with. There are plenty of things that can work to bring peace back into your life, to have sex again in your life, to have affection again into your life, but they are things that are too much for your nervous system to handle right now. That's why regulation is so important, because you're overwhelmed. Your rational thinking brain is interpreting that as a state of truth. And that's where all the despair and victim stories come from. Because your brain is going to write the narrative to match your nervous system. Your brain is going to try to explain to you what your body is saying. Your nervous system is overwhelmed. Your brain now says, I'm overwhelmed. I'm not going to do anything. The way out of this is nervous system regulation. The way through this is to be able to calm your nervous system, to be able to pull yourself out of shutdown. Because remember, the thoughts now being fed from your nervous system are nothing's going to change. Why bother? This is permanent. I'm just going to be like this for the rest of my life. Things can change. But what's happening is you're rewriting the narrative from that overwhelm of your nervous system. You're creating a self-fulfilling prophecy. And that's part of the physiological collapse you have. All of a sudden, you are just now, that tightness in your chest that you probably had before, it's like just to be able to have that relief, be like, oh, okay, if I just give up, I don't feel those uncomfortable feelings anymore. But deep down inside, that's just numbing. You're numbing because what's actually going on deep inside of you feels far worse. If you're just afraid to make those tough decisions and afraid to make those tough conversations, that's like surface level. But collapse goes deep into your soul. And so you give up. And again, this is not to shame or blame or guilt. It's just to show you that there is a way out. There is a reality, but you are overwhelmed. Your nervous system is overwhelmed. It does not register that there is a solution. Because sexual rejection, I get it. It's powerful. It hurts. Sexual connection is tied to our belonging, attachment, safety, worth, masculinity, validation. When that sexual intimacy disappears, our nervous system is registering attachment threat, and repeated sexual rejection becomes a chronic signal. And your nervous system just cycles through. Activation means try harder, try something different. Then it becomes self-blame and then shutdown. But the shutdown, even though it says stop reaching out, this hurts too much, it's taking you to a place of despair. It's taking you to a place of accept this, tolerate the intolerable. That's just protection. That's based off of childhood wounds that you've had, where you probably had to give up earning love, earning affection, earning safety from a caregiver. And so now you're repeating the same pattern. Your nervous system's driving the bus. That inner boy inside is numbed. He's completely numbed. And that state of collapse feels like truth. And you lose all sense of hope. Everything feels heavy. Everything looks like it's permanent. And your brain is saying, this is my reality. But it's not your reality. It's just your nervous system state right now. The beautiful thing about the brain, I've talked about this before, neuroplasticity, you can rewire your brain. You can change that state of your nervous system. You don't have to give up. And when I say giving up, I'm talking about giving up ever having affection, ever having initiation of sex towards you, ever having warmth. You may be giving up getting it from this woman, but when your nervous system can come out of this state of shutdown and exhaustion and overwhelm, you start to realize that all of those things are possible again, but it just means you have to make the tough decisions. You have to work through your nervous system because, yeah, you may get all of these things back, but it may not be with the woman you are married to right now. Shutdown, it's protective, but you don't have to stay in a state of collapse. Because when you shut down, you stop showing up for yourself. Not just sexually, but emotionally, physically, relationally. You stop believing that you matter, and your identity starts to erode, little by little. There is a solution out there. Now, it's hard to think your way out of this despair, because it's not a thinking problem, it's a regulation problem. But when you can learn to regulate your nervous system, when you can learn that my nervous system is just saying, I'm overwhelmed, my one job is to keep me safe, this is what I'm going to do, and when you can realize that and just notice it. Remember, step one, a secure husband process, just notice, awareness. Then an intention to take action. I am going to regulate my nervous system. I'm going to learn to do that. And we're going to do a podcast episode on regulating the nervous system as we close out the month-long series. And then it gives you the opportunity not to confront the patterns in your current relationship because you've been doing that, but it gives you the opportunity to regulate, restore the safety inside your body, and make decisions no longer in collapse, but make decisions that are tough decisions that eventually bring you peace. It just triggered me so much seeing all of these comments and forums of men giving up. Just sad. It's so sad. I just want to go and take these guys, give them a big old hug and say, you're going to be okay. It's just your nervous system. You are afraid of confronting the tough decisions because you are in self-preservation mode and shut down, overwhelmed, despair. So when you can get your nervous system to reset and you can shift your system out of that state of collapse and despair, then your perception widens. and hope becomes available again, it just doesn't look like what you thought it would look like. Hope to you before was getting your current wife to give you affection and attention and warmth. Radical acceptance, that may not be the case in your marriage. So, what are your options? Hope. Not false hope, but real hope. I don't want to make anyone feel bad. Again, if you're thinking this, I just want to let you know that I hear you. Man, I love you, and you've got this. You can do this. Is it going to be easy? No, it is going to be hard work. But things that are the most important in your life are always going to be hard. Think about things like parenting. Think about things like relationships. Those take work. They're not easy, but they're worth it. You're worth it, man. And this is why with the Secure Husband process, we go to that divine guidance. Whichever your belief system is, if it's God, universe, higher spirit, it's a sense of unconditional love that you know how to show to yourself, that you love yourself so much that why do I have to live in a state of despair? An innate, inherent self-worth, and to be able to regulate your nervous system, pulling yourself out of that state of despair and take loving action based on guidance from your divine wisdom. What is the next loving action I can take? You don't have to tolerate this anymore. You don't have to give up. Yeah, it hurts, but you just regulate, stay present. You don't have to shut down. You understand, you see, okay, the shutdown is just, it's my defenses. It's my protection. But if I can lean into that, then I don't have to give up the rest of my life. I hope this podcast is helpful for you. I just was so triggered when I saw those. If you're a first-time listener, I encourage you, subscribe to this podcast, share this episode with somebody. If you know someone who is collapsing, share this with them. And if you're a regular listener, would you give me a review? And if you're stuck in your marriage, you need help, you need accountability, I encourage you, visit securehusband.com, sign up for that free 30-minute consultation. It's just a conversation to see if one-on-one coaching might be helpful for you. And I'll see you again on the next Secure Husband podcast. Thanks for listening.